Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at how to learn a song more effectively and efficiently. So this isn't a tutorial that covers any one particular song, but it should be applicable to any piece of music that you've got, any piece of tab that you're trying to learn and maybe having a little bit of a difficult time with it, or it's just not going in quite quickly enough. If you apply these 4 tips that I'm about to run through to that song, you should find that it's a lot easier to learn and you actually start to memorize it and start to understand it a bit better and ultimately find it easier to play. So let's get to it, straight into tip number 1. So tip number 1 is to go bar at a time. And I know that sounds like the most obvious tip that anyone's ever going to give you. How else are you going to play it? But what I actually mean by taking it a bar at a time is concentrating on the bar that you need to play there and then. So it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to start with the first bar. Once you've got the first bar down, leave it alone. Okay? It's really common for people when they're learning a song to be able to play the first couple of bars, get to the 3rd bar, 4th bar, something like that, and that's the one they struggle with. And what they actually do then is they go back, play the 1st and 2nd bar, and then they get to the bar they struggle with, have a difficult time with it, and then go right back again to bar 1, 2. And most of the time is spent playing bars 1 and 2, so they become really, really good at playing bars 1 and 2, which is not actually what we want to do. So the way I do it is, and I'm going to use an arrangement of Blue Moon, which is available over at ukulelego.com. So if you want to grab the tab for that, just head over to my website. And the first bar really after this sort of opening note that leads it in is like this. Okay, I can play that fine. There's not a lot of point in me playing that over and over again. Actually, when I hit this 3rd bar, it's a little bit different. Okay, so I haven't quite got that totally down yet. So rather than me rewinding and going back to the 1st bar to play that, I should just focus on that one. So straight into that bar. And what I'm actually trying to do is maximise the time I'm practicing just on the things that are quite difficult for me. So go a bar at a time and don't feel the need to rewind all the way back to the start or the start of a section. Work on the bit that you're struggling with until you can play all of the bars. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to try your best to memorise. So there are times when I'm playing a song on Instagram or something like that and I actually can't remember any of the song, and you'll probably notice that I'm looking off screen. I'm probably looking at the tab on a computer or something like that, and I only really ever do that when I need to record a song very quickly and I haven't learned it before. I might just be good enough to be able to play it just by looking at the tab. I can't do that with all songs. It's quite fortunate that I can do it with some, but actually when that tab's taken away from me, I can't play the song at all because it's not in my brain. I don't have any recollection of it at all. So this tip to try and memorise a song is to look at the tab, learn the bar. We're still going bar by bar. So in my Blue Moon example, I know the first 2 bars are. Okay, I know that. So the next thing I need to do is look at the tab for the next bar. And you're going to see me looking off screen now as I do this. Okay, I can't remember that. So what I do now is I put that tab away and I don't look at it. And I need to know the song here, and what I try and do is just play it without looking at the tab, see how best I can do that. And I don't know this, so I'm definitely going to run into problems, but I think it starts on a full strum of a G minor. I think it's something like that, so I feel like I've got most of it, and actually looking back at the tab now, I missed a strum there on a C7. So I'll then not look at the tab again and I'll try and get that down again. Not bad. And that's what I'll do with every bar. So I will look at the tab, read it, play it, put the tab away, try and play it. And then once I've got that in memory, I'll move on to the next bar and so on. And that way, when it actually comes to the point where I don't have the tab, I'll just be able to play the song. So if ever you're at somebody's house or somebody's at yours, when we're not in lockdown, and they say play us a song, you won't need to go and get any music or anything like that. Okay, so we've done bars at a time, and we've also looked at trying to memorise as much as we possibly can. The next tip that I'm going to give you is to work those connecting bars. So learning a bar at a time is great. So if I learn bar 1, bar 2 and then bar 3, and I can play them all individually, sometimes you're going to find it's not so easy to transition between bars 2 and 3, for example. You might just have a little bit of difficulty. Let's say in my example where I'm playing, I might have a little bit of difficulty transitioning to that G minor. So what I then do is just make sure that I can connect those two bars together. So I'm going to just do that again. And I can sort of do that here, but there are some instances where that doesn't happen and I actually have to concentrate on the bits between the bars. But I only come back to the transitions after I've learned the bar in its entirety. And I think that just makes for a more fluid learning experience and a more complete learning experience, and I think it just makes it easier as well. So now we have learned to play and learn bar at a time. We've tried to commit the bars to memory, and we've also looked at adding fluidity between the bars once we've learned and memorised them. Only at this point then do I get the metronome out. And I'm going to load up a metronome that I have on my phone. And I don't typically start with a metronome. I like to bring it in closer to the end, but I do recommend if you've never played with a metronome before that you do start trying it. I'm going to find what my metronome app is called. I think it's this one called Soundbrenner. I use an Android phone. There's loads of free metronomes out there. So what I will typically do is set my metronome to something like 60 beats per minute. Leave that playing. And try and play at 60 beats per minute. Okay, not the best, but you can see what I'm trying to do there. I would probably play that through, let me just stop that a second. I would probably play that through a couple of times until I played it a little bit better than what I played there, and then I will up the speed by about 5 beats per minute. So Blue Moon actually is 100 beats per minute, so I've got quite a long way to go there from my 60 beats per minute, but I'll find that I'll usually be able to advance quite quickly, and my playing will improve significantly from using a metronome. I don't use a metronome right at the start while I'm learning all the fingerings and while I'm getting to grips with memorising the song, because I honestly think it's a hindrance at that point. I think you need to know the song, you need to be able to play it to a degree, and you need to be able to really play it by memory before you introduce the metronome. That's just my way of learning that I find the best. So they're my 4 tips. Bar at a time, try and memorise, get the bits between the bars so you can connect those bars together, and then use a metronome. If you stick with those 4 tips on any song and you progress through those, you'll find that you learn the songs much better, much quicker, and much more efficiently. So I hope you found this useful. John and I will be back soon with another lesson, and thanks very much for watching as always. Any questions, please just drop me a message, drop me a comment. Thanks a lot.